sports fans. Welcome to Sports Illustrated Sooner TV. I'm Rick Heath. With me, Mark Rogers, and we are at one of the premier breakfast, brunch, lunch locations in the Metro, Neighborhood Jam.
I love Neighborhood Jam. All the food here is great. Change up the pancakes every week. This week it's chocolate pancake with s'mores. I mean,
they're going to bring out some s'mores for you here. I told them you love s'mores, so they're going to bring out some s'mores. And chilaquiles, which is a breakfast special, Mexican breakfast special coming up here in just a little bit. Great place, Jam. 2 locations in the Metro, here in Norman on Main Street next to the railroad tracks. 150th North Penn in Oklahoma City. Mark, the OU Sooners made it as difficult as it was, but they made it to the college football playoffs, the number 4 seed playing number 1 seeded LSU.
They survived that loss at Kansas State. They had some help from Arizona State late in the year, who knocked out Oregon, who I think might have had a good chance to get in ahead of Oklahoma the way they won the Pac-12 championship game with 1 loss and a good non-conference schedule. But Oklahoma does seem to find a way a lot of times to get into the college football playoff. Now they're going to win one.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. At some point, they're going to have to win one because nationally, they're not getting any respect, and they haven't earned that respect. So I understand, the national pundits going, well, OU got in at number 4, but, they get to go play LSU.
Well, and I think they got a break, again, with LSU being the opponent. LSU deserved to be the number 1 team, in my opinion, because they beat Georgia on a neutral field in Atlanta. They also won at Alabama. They beat LSU at home. They survived that tough SEC West, also played Florida in a crossover game, which was a good opponent. So I think they deserve to be that, but I don't think they're anywhere close to the number 1 team in the college football playoff right now. I think Ohio State and Clemson are the 2 best teams. Statistically, they really look imposing. Ohio State's defense is just as good as its offense. They've got a quarterback with 50 touchdowns and 1 interception. And so I think that Oklahoma, this sets up to me as their best chance to win a game in the playoffs.
And even though it's a small chance, it is their best chance. Hey, we are at Neighborhood Jams. Mark Rogers, Ricky. If you're looking to go on a one-day trip down to the Peach Bowl, you need to call Oklahoma Tickets, 364-7500, to go to oklahomatickets.com. They have a one-day trip down and back to the Peach Bowl, a great opportunity. Give them a call at Oklahoma Tickets, 364-7500. Morfit Medical Center, 2908 Via Esperanza in Edmond, is an integrative family medicine center. They feature Smart Graft hair restoration, the most complete full head hair restoration on the market these days. It is great for you. It is the smartest, the best way to get a full head of hair back with using your own hair, and it doesn't take as long as you think. So to find out more, contact morfitmedical.com about Smart Graft hair replacement.
I'm attorney Noble McIntyre at McIntyre Law. Over the past 20 years, we have fought for Oklahomans who have been injured by medical malpractice and medical device injuries. These injuries are caused by products including defective hip implants, transvaginal mesh implants, Zofran, Xarelto, Invokana, and IVC filters. Unfortunately, these type of injuries happen every day, and it's good to have a local expert to turn to for help.
On behalf of myself and the entire McIntyre Law team, I can assure you, no one will work harder than we will.
Reveal a more youthful you. A more beautiful you. A more confident you. A healthier you. Your journey begins this summer at Laser Light Skin Clinic. Call us today for your free consultation.
At Eskridge Honda, we go the Eskridge mile for you with low monthly payments. Like a new 2019 Honda CR-V EX for just $189 a month. That's going the Eskridge mile. Online at eskridgehonda.com.
And welcome back. Sports Illustrated Sooner TV. Rick Heath, Mark Rogers from Neighborhood Jams in Norman, where they have great breakfast. They have a great lunch, but the brunch is to die for. All available at 2 locations in the Metro, 150th North Penn in Oklahoma City, and here in Norman on Main Street next to the railroad tracks. Okay, so LSU, the number 1 team, they also happen to have the number 1 offense. Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrows. They have the number 1 receiver, Jamar Chase, and they have a really good running back in
Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire. I mean, he's got over 1,200 yards. This is a loaded offense.
It is a loaded offense. But I think the Oklahoma offense, to me, is pretty effective as well. The one difference between the LSU offense and Oklahoma's offense has really been the Sooners have fumbled more often than the LSU offense. Interceptions are kind of close. Oklahoma with 8, Jalen Hurts with 8, and 7 for Joe Burrow on the season. The Oklahoma offense, yards per attempt, yards per completion, #1 in the country. So LSU can run, they can throw, but if Oklahoma cannot turn the football over, I think that they got a chance to score with them and perhaps score in a little bit different way, Rick, than they have in the past, possessing the football, running the football, allowing their defensive time to rest.
Well, see, and that's what's so different is, the explosive offense is now on the side of LSU. Before, whenever OU played in the college football playoffs, they had the explosive offense, but they didn't know if they could stop anybody.
Right.
This year, the defense is playing better and showing better, but the offense has evolved into, as you said, more of a run control of the clock type. But let's talk about the OU defense against Burrows and Chase and Helaire. I mean, Alex Grinch has got to be sitting there scratching his head. How do you can't stop them. You just try to slow them down.
Well, it's a huge task. I do think OU's played better in the secondary. Parnell Motley had a really good Bedlam game. He also had a good game at Baylor, forced a couple of big turnovers. So he's a senior, and this is the time that you would expect in his career that he would be playing his best football. Trey Brown in the other corner spot, we saw him make the game-saving play in the Big 12 championship game. And so I think these guys are, they've been out there a bunch in their career, and this is going to be a huge test for them. But I think that they're veterans, and we'll see if they can get it done.
Now, if you're Grinch, do you put Motley on Chase and have him go all around, or you just play wide side, short side?
Well, that's a good question. I think that LSU's so deep at receiver. Chase is good, but there are other good players on that team as well. So I think you have to take some chances and don't play everything the same way. You're going to have to, at times, I think maybe bring some pressure and try to get to the quarterback, see how that works. So you're going to have to mix it up. And I think Alex Grinch has done a good job of doing that this year.
And that's one of the things that they've been able to do this year is get pressure on the quarterback. And if they can get pressure on Burrows, because the LSU offensive line has been good, but they're not an elite line.
Right.
So if OU's defense can get pressure on Burrows, make him get out of the pocket, make him move, he's still effective. But if you leave him back there and just let him go through his reads, it's going to be like leaving Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield back there and letting them say, go throw it.
Well, and I also think, again, too, over the top, he's been excellent throwing to those guys. So you have to play some safeties in there, and you have to hope that your front seven can stop the run, which is important. Oklahoma, that's one area where they are, to me, better than LSU. They average about 6.8 yards per carry this year. LSU is in the 4.7 range, something like that. So I think that's the key, is Oklahoma possessing the football and running the football. Defensively, Sooners have more sacks and they got more tackles for loss than LSU.
Well, and they've been playing well, and they've trended up so much better than they have in the past, where they're in the top 25 or so in nationwide in third down efficiency, and top 10 in third down efficiency, and top 25 in defense. So this is a better defense, but it will surely be tested by Joe Burrow's and the LSU offense.
It will. No question about it. And it's strange to see LSU have this type of explosiveness on offense.
Well, yeah, when's the last time that happened? Never. So, what Joe Burrows has been able to bring is revitalize the LSU offense, revitalize the SEC's offensive, overall concepts, because, Tua at Alabama was doing that with Saban, but nobody else was really doing it. None of the other teams, even though Mazzalan from Auburn is an offensive genius, so to speak,
right,
it was still a kind of a pedestrian offense, as most of them were in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, Alabama's kind of changed. The SEC's changing. They're teams that throw the football around and are really good on offense, and it's tough to have a defense that stays on the field that long because your offense scores so quickly. We're seeing what happened in the Big 12. Now, is there a talent gap between the defense and the SEC and the Big 12? Yes, but again, it's not maybe as great as some people perceive.
Well, it was always nice to watch an SEC game and watch a Big 12 type situation break out, which I like.
Big 12 is becoming also, again, they're playing more run-oriented football, and we're seeing some good defense in the Big 12. Baylor's got a defense that's really good. Oklahoma's defense isn't bad.
Yeah, and so that's going to be the key, is can OU's defense slow down the high-scoring LSU Bayou Tigers?
And again, turnovers, huge
Yeah.
key.
Can they get a turnover or two?
Yeah.
All right, hey, we are at Neighborhood Jams here on Main Street in Norman. Two great locations for Neighborhood Jams, 150th North Penn and here in Norman on Main Street. Great food. We got some s'mores pancakes coming out here in a minute, some chilaquiles. The biscuits are plate size. You got to come to Jams if you haven't been here. It is a great place for lunch, brunch, and breakfast. We'll be right back. Okay. Hello, sports fans. Rick Heath here at Mitchell Jewelers, where they are having a diamond event, the Antwerp Diamond event here at Mitchell Jewelers on Main Street in Norman. And with me this morning, Kim Petit from Antwerp.
From Antwerp.
And you're bringing in a lot of diamonds for this event.
I do.
And so some of the people out there might want to know, why Antwerp? What makes Antwerp the center of the diamond world?
Well, they still call Antwerp the diamond capital of the world. And I think it's because we are known for our cutters. We have the best cutters in the world. The way that your diamond is polished, in fact. You want the proportions of your stone to be perfect. You don't want a shallow stone, or you pay for your diamond by the weight, so you don't want a thick stone because you're paying for the weight you can't see. So you want them to be cut to perfection. And when that is done, your color looks better, your clarity looks better, everything looks better. So
that's what you were saying. Antwerp has the best cutters.
We do. We really do.
And that's what helps separate Antwerp from other places in the world.
Yeah, our diamonds have way more life. They're very brilliant.
And then the last thing, Kim, is how do you select the diamonds that you bring here to Oklahoma into Mitchell Jewelry?
Yeah, that's a big job because we have a huge inventory. So usually we communicate with Newt and Gina to see the appointments they have set up, what are the specific demands, what were people looking for. And then, of course, we bring a range of what we call stock goods, like the more commercial goods for earrings in different sizes, some engagement diamonds. So we kind of know more or less what our customer is looking for.
So this you bring a lot of different things. So people come in and pick what you have, and you can explain to them about the cut, the clarity, the carat weight, all of that, and they can come away from this knowing full well that they're getting great value for their dollar.
Absolutely. And I think it's important because a diamond is still a high value product. It's important that you know what you're buying, and that's what they do here. It's a very nice thing. Normally when you go to a jewelry store, the diamonds are mounted in the piece. It's very difficult to really observe the quality, and here they give you the opportunity to actually look at the diamond. I'll explain to people how to use a loupe, how to look at the color, so they can
sit here in this beautiful room here and talk to you about their diamond.
Yeah.
That is great.
I'll show them the process of how I buy our diamonds. We manufacture ourselves, but we also buy on the local market. So they actually get to see how I do it, and I teach them how to look at the diamonds.
So they get an education as well as a beautiful diamond.
Absolutely.
There you go. Kim, thank you so much. Kim
Thank
Petit
you so
from
much.
Antwerp here at Mitchell Jewelry in Norman for the Antwerp Diamond event at Mitchell Jewelry. Welcome back. Sports Illustrated Sooners TV, Rick Heath, Mark Rogers from Neighborhood Jams. And guess what? Next door to Neighborhood Jams is the Winston, a great Hal Smith restaurant group concept. Again, named after Hal Smith, as a matter of fact. Hal Winston Smith has his namesake next door here to Neighborhood Jams, and a great place for lunch, dinner, and they are open on New Year's Eve on 2 for Tuesday. So you can't miss the Winston on New Year's Eve. 2 for Tuesday, open till 2 p.m. That's the Winston on Main Street next to Neighborhood Jams. You know, Mark, OU's team had 5 All-Americans. And I think it's remarkable in that OU's been known for its offense, and they've had a lot of All-Americans on offense. But this year they had 2 nominated to third team on defense, and Neville Gallimore and Kenneth Murray.
And those guys I think are going to translate into be pretty high NFL picks. Some have a first round projection on them. Not sure if they're going to be in the first round, but I think they would be in the first couple of rounds. And we have not seen many OU players drafted defensively in the first couple of days of the NFL draft.
Well, they haven't made any All-American teams in almost 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you know, that's a long time for OU defense to be in a fallow type situation.
Right. Well, Kenneth Murray's, you know, he struggled as his freshman year against Georgia in the national playoff, and it was pretty well documented. He used that game as motivation, so he's got a chance to come back and make a name for himself on a big stage. And again, he will go to the NFL draft. but he's been a pretty good linebacker at Oklahoma.
You know, and Neville Gallimore finally, you know, he had potential, and that's all it was potential. This year, he's put it all together. He's become a nose guard force, and being able, you know. And I watched in the Baylor game where he was blocked at the line of scrimmage, but the play went to the outside. He was the first guy to push the running back out of bounds on the sideline with a 2-yard gain. That's how much talent he had.
He can run. He's a little bit undersized in terms of what you're going to play in the NFL if you're going to play in that 0-1 gap, but he can really run. And so that you need that against an offense that's got as much speed as LSU does.
Yeah, they do, and I look forward to both of those guys making an impact. But let's talk about the offensive side of the ball for OU. CeeDee Lamb, first-team All-American, no surprise at all.
No surprise. I mean, he's had a breakout season. Touchdowns, he specializes in that. He's always around the football when it comes to the end zone. He's a big physical receiver. Had a heck of a play in the Big 12 championship game where he ran through what seemed like the entire Baylor defense. So that's a weapon. LSU's got some talented players on the defensive side of the ball. Grant Delpit is an All-American safety. They've got a corner, Stingley, that is freshman.
That's going to be an interesting matchup if Stingley gets on CeeDee Lamb, because Stingley's he's a freshman cornerback, but he is one of the most talented defensive backs in the SEC.
Well, I think, again, look, if you're Oklahoma, you want to take your chances. If they play CeeDee Lamb man coverage, I think that's going to be a big opportunity for Oklahoma. I think, you know, he's good enough to beat Stingley, to me, for sure. So I think LSU's going to have to mix it up some, too, and try to maybe trick Jalen Hurts into throwing some balls that he shouldn't, because that's been really Oklahoma's offense. The only problem that they've had this year is the turnover bug. Yeah,
you know, and Jalen Hurts, in spite of those turnovers, made third-team All-American. Creed Humphrey makes second-team All-American. So they've had a really good representation on the All-American teams, you know, with Jalen Hurts. I mean, Creed Humphrey's anchoring the line. Early in the year, I don't know what they would have done without Creed Humphrey.
Well, he has done a really nice job. I think you've got to give credit to Bill Bedenbaugh, because he somehow put together this offensive line of guys that were inexperienced, built him around Creed Humphrey at center. As we said, they went out and they are fourth in the nation in yards per rush. And Oklahoma's changed the way that it played, because at times the quarterback has turned the ball over, and so they've possessed the football after the Kansas State game. They've made some adjustments, and they became a lot better football team in November and late November than they were in the middle of October when they lost that game in Manhattan.
Yeah, they kind of changed their identity, and hats off to Lincoln Riley for recognizing that, you know, and changing the offense to adapt to what he was seeing on the field.
Right.
You know, and so that brings us to Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, golly, what can you say about Jalen Hurts? I mean, the transfer from Alabama, everybody knows the story, how he came to Oklahoma, you know, but he has evolved himself while he's been at Oklahoma.
Well, I think that, you know, it's just such a difficult thing to stop when your quarterback is as big as Jalen Hurts and can run the way that he runs. You drop back and the field breaks down a little bit. You've got to be concerned with Oklahoma's talent at wide receiver, and then there he goes. And it's just very difficult to tackle. To me, the turnovers have been a little bit of a concern late in the season, because when you play good teams, it's going to be tough. You know, Baylor, both games were really incredible wins by Oklahoma. Taylor 2 halves in Waco earlier this year, but I think he's been sensational, very different than the previous 2 Oklahoma quarterbacks that made appearances in New York for the Heisman Trophy and won the award, but he can be just as effective with his run game.
Well, you know, and that's the thing about it, the run game for OU with Jalen Hurts. We're going to bring in the food here real quick. Here we go. S'mores, there you go, the s'mores pancakes. And the chilaquiles right here. All right, chilaquiles with egg on top, corn tortillas, Mexican cheese. Wow.
That is awesome.
This is why you come to Jams, right here. Mm-hmm. These items right here on special. S'mores, pancakes, chilaquiles, you can't beat it. Great food, all available here at Jams. Lunch, brunch, and breakfast, always available. 6:30 to 2:30 every day at Neighborhood Jams here in Norman on Main Street and 150th and North Penn in Oklahoma City. We'll be right back with more after this.
Only at Tri-City Tractors can you hop on a new Mahindra tractor or Bad Boy mower and take one for a spin.
So find us on TriCityTractors.com, the home of Try It Before You Buy It.
Tri-City Tractors, I-44, exit 108 in Newcastle. TriCityTractors.com.
Chalk Sports Bar on Memorial, where they have happy hour all night on Monday Night Football. They have great specials, plus they have good snacks. chipotle queso, caramel hummus. They have fried pickles, fried devil eggs, and chips and salsa, all on special for happy hour. And they have drinks. They have $2.50 domestic drafts. So all that available here at the Chalk Sports Bar on Monday night. Morfit Medical Center, 2908 Via Esperanza in Edmond, is an integrative family medicine center. They feature smart graft hair restoration, the most complete full head hair restoration on the market these days. It is great for you. It is the smartest, the best way to get a full head of hair back with using your own hair, and it doesn't take as long as you think. So to find out more, contact morfitmedical.com about smart graft hair replacement.
I'm attorney Noble McIntyre at McIntyre Law. Over the past 20 years, we have fought for Oklahomans who have been injured by medical malpractice and medical device injuries. These injuries are caused by products including defective hip implants, transvaginal mesh implants, Zofran, Xarelto, Invokana, and IVC filters. Unfortunately, these type of injuries happen every day, and it's good to have a local expert to turn to for help.
On behalf of myself and the entire McIntyre Law team, I can assure you, no one will work harder than we will.
Reveal a more youthful you, a more beautiful you, a more confident you, a healthier you. Your journey begins this summer at Laser Light Skin Clinic. Call us today for your free consultation.
At Eskridge Honda, we go the Eskridge mile for you with low monthly payments, like a new 2019 Honda CR-V EX for just $189 a month. That's going the Eskridge mile. Online at eskridgehonda.com.
And we're back, Sports Illustrated Sooner TV. Rick Heath, Mark Rogers from Neighborhood Jams, where they are featuring, Jams is featuring s'mores, pancakes, and chilaquiles this week. Can't beat them. Got to come in and try them, as well as all the rest of the great breakfast foods and lunch foods here at Neighborhood Jams on Main Street in Norman. I want to thank some other wonderful sponsors of our TV show, Trails Golf Club in Norman. Great place to play golf on a championship course and a family-friendly atmosphere. If you're looking for a place for 2020 to play golf, give them a call, 364-3790, and find out about membership specials at the Trails Golf Club. Brown Shoe Fit Company in Norman on Main Street next to Hobby Lobby. If you're looking for Christmas boots for the ladies or the kids or the gentlemen, if you're looking for waterproof footwear for the winter, Brown Shoe Fit Company on Main Street in Norman next to Hobby Lobby. And also, Oklahoma tickets for a one-day fair down and back to the Peach Bowl. You can't beat them. OklahomaTickets.com, 364-7500, to go to OklahomaTickets.com. Mark, let's take a look at the matchups on how it might be, okay? And the number one matchup, of course, is Joe Burrows and that explosive offense against OU's defense. You look at it and you go, okay, advantage LSU. But there's some stories behind it we've kind of touched on.
Right. Well, again, Oklahoma's defense is the best defense they've brought into a college football playoff. And they're used to facing this type of offense and this type of quarterback. They've seen it in the Big 12. Alex Grinch coached against it or coached on the staff with Mike Leach at Washington State, so he knows a lot about it. I think LSU is going to score some points. Again, any turnovers you get that you can stop them, or say 3 and outs to put their defense on the field, I think are going to be big in this game.
Well, see, to me, that's going to be the key. Is you can't stop them, slow them, and the best way to slow them is get a turnover.
Right. I think so. That's true. And then again, I think you want to make them a predictable offense. If you can stop them on first down, get an incompletion, then your chances improve of getting off the field. So Joe Burrow is just so good at the downfield big chunk plays that LSU's had all season long. Oklahoma's going to have to play diligently against that.
Well, and they're going to have to get pressure on Burrows and move him around so he can't just sit there and feel comfortable in the pocket. And to me, that's going to be the key. Turnovers first, making Burrows uncomfortable, number 2.
Right. Well, then I think even bigger for me is the OU offense. Can it possess the football?
That is my number 2.
Yeah.
That's my number 2.
Can it set? If Oklahoma can run the ball and possess it, then I think they're going to have a chance to be in the game in the end. I mean, LSU, if you look, they gave up over 400 yards of rushing to Ole Miss. It's a Rich Rodriguez type team. A lot of similar concepts to what Lincoln's doing right now. with Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma.
This LSU defense is not elite.
No, it's not.
It's far from it.
It's not the way that it's been in the past. For example, people want to take shots at the Big 12. It's one game. I don't like one-game comparisons. But Texas had a lot of success. Quarterback run game, throwing the football against the LSU defense. Texas had no success against the Baylor defense, the Baylor defensive front, which really looks more like LSU's defense than what Baylor's had kind of in the past. And so I think that there have been teams that have had success running the football, and this Oklahoma offense is going to be as good of an offense as LSU's defense has faced this year. Alabama and Tua was good, and Oklahoma's in that same category.
Well, and Jalen Hurts is going to have some success throwing the ball as well as running it, because if they run the ball consistently, LSU doesn't respect the passing game. And how can you not with CeeDee Lamb? You got to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. You got to get the ball to the wideouts. As you said earlier in the show, you got to back them off the line of scrimmage by throwing those talented wideouts for OU.
That's right. And I think that you can see some guys in this game step up. Maybe some of those freshmen that are so talented, they belong on this football field. They're the type of recruits that LSU's been getting on that side of the football. So maybe we'll see Jaden Hazelwood catch a big pass. Nick Basquin has had a really, really good, I think, into his career at Oklahoma. Lee Morris has also been really good.
Lee Morris, he needs a touchdown just kind of cap his career. He's Mr. Touchdown for OU's offense.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be big for those guys.
It would be, And here, to me, the key on all of it is OU's offensive line. Can OU's offensive line run block? If they can effectively run block on first down and get that 6-8 yards that they've been doing late in the year, like you said earlier, in November and early game in December, and start controlling that line of scrimmage. And you mentioned earlier, using the clock to their advantage. The longer they can stay on the field, the less effect LSU's offense will have, and then it kind of puts them in a different position, because LSU's been dominating basically from the start.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that clock management is important. Special teams, Gabe Burkich has been outstanding to take over that job in the middle of the year. He hasn't missed a kick so far this season, so that's another advantage.
That's one of my new favorite players for OU, Burkich. When he strutted out on there to kick the tying field goal against Baylor, he strutted. It wasn't a walk. It was a strut. Like, I got this, dude. Boom. And he's been nailed all year.
You got to be confident as a kicker. Right?
That's right. Yeah. You can't show any fear, because they will get you. This is like Burke. So it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously it's going to be an interesting game. I look for, LSU's still going to score points. If they can hold them, if OU's defense can hold them, under 35?
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think in the low 30s is a number you look for. Yeah, anything that gets in the mid to high 30s is going to be a problem to outscore at that point. So I think to target that game would be 28-31, something like that.
Yeah, I got 35-27 LSU. I still think LSU's the better team, and OU's going to have a chance. But I think in the end, Joe Burrows and the offense will do some things enough to overcome the OU defense. 35-27, and Jalen Hurts, if you're a hero, this is the game to be a hero in.
Yeah, that's right. It would be sweet to see him, get a win in the college football playoff. And he's got a lot of experience, and so that's something that Oklahoma, who's got experience in the playoff, and their quarterback's got experience playing in the SEC, I think it gives them some confidence in this game.
All right, I'm calling it now. Jalen Hurts, MVP, Sugar Bowl, go Jalen. That's going to do it, Mark. Thank you so much. For my producer, Chase Spivey, thank you very much. It's been a great year, and good luck, OU, in the Peach Bowl.